Hello, and welcome to Rocking Your College Audition, making a great impression with your audition video.
Hi, my name is Deedy Francis. I'm from South Carolina at the South Carolina School of the Arts in Anderson University, and where I teach voice and voice-related subjects, and I conduct the Anderson University Women's Choir.
And I'm Byron Jones. I'm coming to you from up here in Northern Virginia. I teach at Shenandoah Conservatory in Winchester, and I'm also up in Scroon Lake, New York in the summers at Siegel Music Colony. And yeah, I have a lot of COVID hair. I've got more hair than that guy in the picture, so that's COVID hair. Remember that first impressions are lasting ones. And I guess our advice is look professional. And this doesn't mean that you have to spend a lot of money on clothing. It means that you take some time to make sure you look put together. You communicate respect for yourself and for your artistry and for the art form and also for the time of the people who are listening to your video or listening to your live audition. You just want to be put together. You want to, a friend of mine says, look like you care. So yeah, just remember that the way you dress communicates how you feel about the audition.
Absolutely. And looking professional means not too wrinkled either. So make sure that you don't just pull a shirt out of your hamper. I've seen that. So you want to make sure that you, you want to make a good first impression. And you want to wear something that's comfortable so it doesn't inhibit your movement. So number one, you can breathe. And number two, you can move with freedom and sing with freedom. And think about colors and styles that might suit you. And be sure to show your attire, what you're going to wear, what you've picked out, or probably two or three things and have maybe choices, and let a grown-up look at them and see how you look in them, and do you look like you care? Do you look professional? Rather than some of your friends, you really want to rely on some of the grown-ups in your life. And again, wear something that's comfortable, even in your shoes. You want your shoes to be comfortable. I'm talking, I guess, specifically to women in heels, but wear shoes that are comfortable, because if your feet hurt, you just can't get grounded and sing. So you really do want to be comfortable, but that you look professional and polished and you feel good about yourself.
So a friend of mine says, don't let your outfit sing louder than you do. You don't want to either walk out of the room or have them close the video clip and say, oh my gosh, did you see that jacket or did you see that dress? You want them to remember your singing. So make sure that you wear something that, yes, is your personality, but it also doesn't take away from what you're doing, which is offering your best self for the audition.
Absolutely. And we want to see who you are. Be open, be friendly. When you walk in the room, introduce yourself. Practice introducing and saying your name. That's actually one of the hardest things to do is say your name and be comfortable with it and just be direct and introduce yourself to the panel that's there listening to you. And we really do want to see who you are. Just be who you are and be amazing. And when you walk in the room, just be comfortable enough to be who you are, because that's really who we want to see.
Yep.
So when you're choosing repertoire, you want to sing something that shows what you can do rather than what you might be working on that's not quite where you want it to be. That could be a language or a skill or something that you want to make sure that it's something that you can do, because you want to be able to be expressive, but it's not necessarily to impress us. We want you to do your best, and you should want to do that too. But you want to be something that you sing something you can knock out of the park, even on your worst day when your allergies have flared up and you don't feel good. That sometimes happens. But sing something that you can do and you can do well comfortably.
You know, everyone around you should get so tired of listening to your songs, because you should try them out for everyone who will listen. And you should practice getting nervous. And that's the way you learn what happens when you do get nervous. If it's you fumble over some words, or you forget a really important breath before this long phrase, so practice what happens so that you'll be, so that when you come to do the live audition or prepare the video, it's settled. You've dealt with that. So sing for anyone who'll listen.
And so don't worry about if it is something you've been working on for a while. That's okay. You can keep it fresh for you if you'll just take time to review the text and remember how you connect to it. And I call that monologuing the song, to make sure that you, even though you have been working on it for a while, or for instance, if it's a piece that you've been working on for a while and the text can get kind of sluggish because you know all the words, but the people in front of you, they're hearing it for the first time maybe. So that's another way to do it, to keep the song fresh, is to monologue your text. But be sure in your preparation that you check early in your audition preparation process, that you check on the websites of those schools and ask, or check out and make sure that your repertoire fits those requirements. And start early, so that if maybe you had been planning to work on something and you checked that website and it wasn't quite what the school was looking for. Additionally, if you have any doubts, I can assure you that any faculty for that school will be glad to answer your questions if you have a question about your repertoire. I've had students email me many times. I'm coming to the audition on such and such a date, and I'm working on these pieces, and I just want to make sure that they fit the requirements for your school. And so I promise you, we really do want to help you, and we want to make sure that you have met those requirements. And so just reach out and ask. It's okay.
Absolutely. And the last thing you want to do is be faced with, a week before, and you think, oh my gosh, I was supposed to learn a piece in English composed after 1950, and you throw something together and it's not your best work. So yeah, do your homework. All right. So do your homework, as I just said. Know what you're singing. Do some research on the composer. Find out where the text came from. I've asked students before in auditions, I so enjoyed that. Who was the composer? And they don't know, or they're nervous and they forget. So you should really know. You should be able to comfortably say the name of the piece and the composer and the poet all. If it's foreign words and names, you should be able to say them well. But remember, when you come into a school setting, we are in an academic setting. We're sort of artist scholars and scholar artists. So we're both, learning how to sing more beautifully and learning rep and learning about what our voice is. But we're also scholars of the music that we sing. So do some homework. We're not asking for a lecture, but just do some homework so that you know some things about the composer and the librettist or the poet that make you, that help you personally relate to what you're singing.
Absolutely. And make sure that, and along with that you can pronounce the piece correctly, and the composer. You need to practice that. Sometimes the first line of the song is not the title of the song. So
right.
Especially if it's in a foreign language, you might want to check, make sure that you can pronounce it correctly.
Absolutely. So, if it's a live audition, and of course most of our auditions this year will be video, but in the case of a live audition, make sure that your music is prepared neatly for your pianist. So that would mean if it's in a book, the book is flexible and it stays open. If it's in a binder, the pages are clear and in the right order. One of them's not upside down all of a sudden, or they're not going to fall out of the notebook, or the notebook itself isn't falling apart. And do not walk in with loose pages. That's just not professional, and it doesn't communicate respect for the person who's your partner in the audition, because it takes two to create a successful audition. So just keep that in mind. It all boils down to professionalism and, again, respect for the process.
Absolutely, and it goes back to making that first impression. So if you have a book that's a very thick book, you want to make sure that the accompanist does not have to fight the page to keep it open. You want them to be with you, so remember to do that as well. And as Byron said, in this time of COVID, you might likely be doing a recorded audition. And so in that recorded audition, we forgot to put down here, but I think it's important that you should slate your piece. So for each piece that you record separately, you should be able to say the name of the composer and the title of the piece, and then you begin singing. Check the balance between the recorded track and your voice. So you have a chance to record probably maybe the biggest part of the song, to make sure that the recording, the accompaniment track and does not overpower you, and that maybe at that moment we can still hear it. So you just have to check the balance. That's great because you're recording it and you can try again and set it right. But also you want to make sure that you practice with that track a lot, so that you are always with it. If there's a fermata or a molto ritard and then an a tempo, you want to make sure that you've practiced that, so that you're not kind of breathing it early or guessing when that next entrance is, but that you've really practiced it so that you're comfortable with that track.
And give yourself plenty of time to do this. I'm finding that it takes me more time to work with a pre-recorded track and to do video recording rather than a video recording with a live pianist. So give yourself plenty of time to do this. Do several takes over several days so that you can choose your best one. Again, you're in the driver's seat, so really choose the one that you think best represents your level of singing. When my students have recitals or performances, the last thing I always say is, go sing like you sing, because I want you to just go and be honestly you. So make sure that you choose the recording that is most representative of you and where you are in your development.
Yeah, so make sure that you do allow for several days, because you never know when your allergies might flare up, or you had a homework assignment for school and you had to stay up late and you're tired. So make sure you give yourself plenty of days and plenty of opportunities to sing your best and get your best recording. And play around with the lighting. You would not believe how long we took today when we started. We changed the lighting to make sure that it was appealing and that it wasn't overpowering. And Byron suggested I change my light setting because this was a warmer light than the other one. You also want to make sure that you're not standing with backlight so that you're in a halo, because we want to see your face and your expression. So make sure that you're check the light balance, that you're not in front of a window, and also that you're not in front of something that there's a tree growing out of your head and we're kind of or you really want to stage it, because you're creating the video is actually a work of art too, not just the singing. But so you really want to make sure that it makes the best impression and puts your best foot forward.
Absolutely. If I were being picky, I would probably try to figure out what that reflection is on my whiteboard. But anyway, this is not about me. This is about you. But do take the time to so that you're pleased with the final product, because this is the one audition that no one's going to see until you're satisfied. When if it's a live audition, you walk in and what happens is what happens. But with this, you get to decide between several takes and really take the time to put it together the way you want it to be. This is representing you. So, and you're what we want to learn about. Both Deedy and I have heard many, many, many auditions, and it's so much fun to. After the singing is over and you sort of go, whew, then you relax and you're more open to conversation. And so I always love to ask questions, and I'm usually interested in what is drawing you so strongly to music that you want to pursue it as a college major. Where did that light turn on for you? Were there significant people in your life that helped you make this decision? So we are going to ask you some questions, and we are excited to learn about you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so if you haven't thought about this, well, I just like singing, and that's why I want to major in music, and that's admirable, but you really need to think about why. What is it that you're passionate about singing and about music? And they might ask you some type of question like that. So if you haven't thought about it, now's the time to do it. And one of my favorite questions to ask is, if you had a magic wand and you could wave it and make anything happen at the end of your time at this school, what would your life look like regarding music? And that tells me a lot about you and your dreams and your goals. And so that's just one of my favorite questions to ask. And think about has there been a significant relationship in your life, a mentor? Many times I've heard that the middle school choral director, she cared so much about me, and she was just so passionate about music, and she instilled a love for choral singing in me, and I want to do that for others. So think about it. Is there a mentor or a significant relationship in your life that inspired you to study music? Because we really, really do want to know about you and what makes you passionate about your art.
And remember that all the people listening to you or watching your videos, we have all auditioned. So we've all stood in your shoes and been nervous and forgotten the word or had to start again. We've all done these things. So you walk into a room, either virtual or actual, and you are walking into folks that are already pulling for you. So we're already on your team. Just remember that, because we really want you to rock your audition. Absolutely. So we hope this has been helpful for you as you get ready for this year. Just keep singing and be honestly who you are. I think that's the name of the game.
And remember, we want you to do well, and we want you to succeed when you walk in that room or when we turn on that video. We want you to rock your audition. We really do. So good luck.
Bye now.
Bye.